All right, y'all, let's get into the Christ and the Antichrist and the coming days and the flip that's going on and how we're going from the spiritual. We were in the spiritual, we're going in the spiritual / carnal now, and then we're going to go into the carnal. The carnal spot is when the church is like, ah, shit, we're still here? That's the Antichrist. We have a mark on our hand. Huh, how about that? So it's going to get good. All right, I'm going to tell you all this. You go into some 4D movies right now. These 4D movies, they make your seat shake. Okay, that's the quakes that are coming. They spray the water in your face. It's the tears. You got the wind blowing in your hair. That's winning. Winning. The prison, the prize son, Jesus, Trump, the Christ. He's going to be thrown into prison. Okay, so there's a flip going on, and I told y'all the whole Bible has to play out. All right, so as the Antichrist came, set up the peace deal, he's going to come and change the times. He's the Messiah. Okay, he's the Messiah to the church. All right, he's the Antichrist to the church because he's against the law. All right. He's the man of lawlessness, the man of sin. All right. So, as that, we can understand that Jesus, I've laid it out in some videos or whatever, but Jesus, he died for all sins, past, present, and future. And sins do not exist with Jesus. With God, sins don't exist. Okay. It's man who is taking what God's given and has perverted it and has brought laws onto man and has told them what to do and those types of things. And I can't lay it out in every video. Y'all got to go back and listen because the foundation has been laid there, setting up the revealing of God, the mystery of Christ, Genesis 1 and 2, man, woman, male, female, differences, all that kinds of stuff, okay? So it's just going to be kind of deep because I can't get off onto those rabbit trails. So we're going into that, depending what part of the Bible it is, okay? Depends on how it's going to play out as far as its carnality, all right? Now, the Jew man, the carnal man, they're looking for signs, okay? These signs they're going to get during the carnal phase, all right? I've told y'all, I've showed a thing, but from 2016 to 2031, all right? 23.5 is the middle, all right? That's basically where Trump is the Antichrist per se, and then he's going to be the Christ, okay? He's the end of one, and he's setting up another, okay? So as Jesus, the Christ, is returning onto earth, in the carnality of the man of sin, then the church is going to see him as the Antichrist, and they're going to see their Savior as the De Santis. That's the De Satan. And the church today, they worships what they call Jesus is actually Satan. And if you know that Jesus died for all sins, past, present, and future, you would understand that that person they're teaching as Satan is actually Jesus, okay? There's a reversal. It's man coming in to control man and putting these laws and constructs in man's minds of what is right and wrong, okay? Everything is created through God with love and made of good. It's man that takes it as and makes it evil. It's man that has fallen from heaven. We are the cherub, Lucifer. We are the Satan. We are those characters that have fallen from heaven, and we need Jesus to get back up into that heaven. And Jesus is that way that we can search for truth because he is the truth. He is the light, okay? The light of the world that's given to you is not the light. So as the church is looking for these carnal signs they shall receive because they are not a spiritual church. If they were a spiritual church, they would have heard the trumpets sounding. They would have known that the veil is being lifted when all this weird shit is starting to play out in the news and the numbers are sticking out at people and whatever else, okay? I've had many people tell me since the trumpets have started in 2020 or whatever, when the world started being locked down, that they have seen these things, and I've heard people like kind of going crazy. They mind doesn't stop. They got to get on Adderall and whatever else. Like there's frequency changes on earth, and if your temple is not clean, and if your temple is not in tuned with the Spirit, then you're not going to know what's going on. So some of us as the members of Christ are the eyes and ears to lead the body. So that body has to have attachments to that eyes and ears in order to see and hear as well, okay? So as Trump is the capstone, he's the cornerstone, okay? So as Jesus is the cornerstone, Jesus is the Christ, that man, that Son of Man coming as the Christ is that Trump character, and he is going to be hung on the cross. And as he's hung on the cross, the church, the carnal man, the man of the right and wrong, the man of the law are going to turn their back on him, and they're going to hang him on the cross as well. And they're going to be for throwing him for prison or whatever. And this is where you get the king's son in the south raising up the army and all those types of things. So as Trump is taken to court, and the Peter and cock, the cock denies 3 times, or Peter denied 3 times, the cock crows in the morning and all that kinds of stuff. That's going to be playing out in the old triple X fashion in the court, and it's going to offend people, and they're going to think he's the Antichrist and all that stuff, right? He is the Antichrist in a sense, but they're already too late, because he's actually the Christ at that point. And they're actually running to the Savior, the Antichrist now, because he's against Trump, okay? Trump's the Christ, and then you have Satan, DeSantis, the Christmas spirit for 2025 against the Christ, okay? You see how it's going to the carnality now, okay? So once DeSantis comes in, all right, the Antichrist of the carnal time, because Trump is the one for the spiritual age, but since he's the one for the spiritual, he's taking the spiritual into another time, okay, of real freedom and liberty. It's just like the time before, when we had to leave England and Britain or whatever, and we had to come to America on the Mayflower, okay? That Mayflower is going to bloom. So that Mayflower is that people leaving the old law, because they were basically under the Levitical law. There's like 100 different things you can be put to death for or whatever, right? So like Trump is setting up the old, all right? He's taking out the old, like he's saying, like, I want death penalty for drug dealers and whatever else, right? However, he's the man of sin. So he's that dawn, okay? He's the one bringing in the stuff, okay? But he's calling for the death of those people, okay? This is one way that you would operate under the law. This is how those preachers, they always have the hobby horse. They preach against the pedophilia while they're into the pedophilia, okay? So the things that are coming up with DeSantis, I can't even say his name anymore properly, DeSatan, in Florida with the hell brand or firebrand they got going on with the Matt Gates of hell. So as the carnality of these things are playing out, the East Coast, the Beast Coast, all right, the killed by the sword, be killed by the sword, all right? Let's get into the mark on the hand, all right? Some of us have been to the future a little bit. Some of us have come back from the future to tell people about what's there. Because if you've been in all light, okay? All the right stuff, all the right places, right times. You probably wouldn't have gone to a nightclub or a rave or whatever, but there, to prove you're of age or whatever, you got to show an ID. And with that, you get a big fat mark on your hand, okay? So the people who have gotten a trick or treatment and a booster for the old Halloween, they are going to need to show or not show or whatever that they've had this, that, or the other, and it's going to mark them, okay? And it's going to play out a little bit differently because more than likely, the people who have taken that, okay, they're the beast, right? They will need to be rounded up, and that is what the FEMA camps are for, and that is what the lockdowns would be for, or whatever. So they know, the AI knows, if you have how you're living and what you've done. So it knows if you leave your house, all your neighbors have cameras all over the place and all kinds of shit going on now, crazy. So it is that Orwellian time. Times are all around you, and this is going to be that time when you want to not be in that beast coast per se, because you're being shown stuff on the vision right now, the television per se, about what's coming. Now everybody is shown a vision in a matter of speaking because we all watch the TV, and right now it is showing you a bunch of prophetic stuff about end times and whatever weird stuff's going on there. But they're showing you, if you aren't getting messages like mine, they're showing you what's coming kind of thing, and it's going to be a flip. But the people, there comes a rib with there comes a king with 3 ribs. All right, these 3 ribs are tied to the RNA, the ribbon nucleic acid. That's the ribbon bow, the bow that was given. The church has got so much catching up to do, and they are already left behind. When things are released, the AI can release it in such a manner where they hear the Trump stuff first, saying that Trump's the Antichrist, because I've taught that Trump is the Antichrist and how and all these other things, right? And then it will be used to blind those carnal people that don't see that he's the Christ now, and that aren't caught up, right? So it's where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Okay, so anyways, folks, just one thing after another, but we're in that flip, and we need to have the spiritual eyes to see the Christ in carnality form versus the Antichrist in carnality form, and how one is whatever. Okay, so as we'll end it here, as Trump is the cornerstone in the carnality, okay, he still is acting as the capstone of the as he's the cornerstone of the spirituality, he's the capstone of the carnality. That's what I meant to say. So that's how he's taking up the carnal church. They're going to think he's the Antichrist. So he's still that carnal Antichrist, but now he's that spiritual Christ. Okay? So I hope that all makes sense to y'all.